Hey, check. See if this is working. Awesome. We're going here. All right, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. God bless. In this video, we're going to go over position sizing because this is what's really important. Right now, we're just cultivating our edge in trading, which means that we have a higher probability of being correct than wrong, but that does not stop you from being wrong. So the idea here is that you want to lose a little, but when you win more. So, for example, I won't take a trade unless it's at least a 2.5 to 1 risk reward, RR, in other words. Um, and how we do that is you'll have a trade here and you can look at your breakout structure and your stop loss, basically when your idea is invalidated. And you look at your position size here. And in this case here, this was a 6.68 to 1. So for every dollar you risk, to your technical target, you would get $6.68 for every dollar. So if you had $100, this would be $668. If you had $1,000, this would be $6,680, all the way up. Just whatever you're risking here is your risk reward ratio. But it's important that you're only risking 1% of your account size or less until you're really comfortable with these ideas and trading and executing your entry and trade management and everything. There are setups where it's worth a higher risk because it's higher probability. We're not going to go over that in this server. We'll go over that one-on-one. Once you're confident in your trades and the process of technical analysis and even as far as trade management. So it's just more advanced. Until then, I'm just going to highly recommend you stick to a maximum of 1% per trade, no matter what your profits are. Try to get a sample size of over 20 to 40 trades, and that way you can see, okay, I've lost this amount, I've gained this amount, and you can figure out what you're doing right versus wrong. So I won't take a trade unless it is at least 2.5 to 1 RR. So what that means is for every dollar I risk, I'm going to make 2.5. So I can lose 50% of the time and still come out profitable, technically speaking, because of my risk management. And to find out your position size, there's a bunch of math you can do. Forex is incredibly complicated because of pips and slippage and all that thing. So I found a way to simplify it. In TradingView, you can create a paper trading account for free. This is fake money. And then you can just set your position size calculator. And when you create this, you just say, let's create a new one, position size calculator 2. I've zeroed out all the leverage. So this is all one-to-one leverage. There's no commissions or per contract or anything like that because that can change depending on the exchange that you're working. So this is basically a flat account number. Basically, I'm using 100,000 because that's what the prop firms are that I'm working with have for their account. So when I'm looking for a position size, say on this breakout structure, in this case it was a buy, I will just simply click buy, click limit, drag my limit down to my entry point, drag my stop loss down to where my idea is invalidated or slightly below. I will go over into this risk. You can do USD, you can do percent of balance, risk USD. I always go risk percent of balance. Change that to 1, so it's 10%. This lets me know that I need 61 units total. So depending on your exchange that you're working with, 61 units might mean different things. If, for example, if you go on Owanda and you look at the details, you just look at their contract size, you want to just make sure you're not buying more than 61 units. So in this case, if you needed a dollar value at these prices down here that you're entering in, you would take 61 times 4,011.446, and that would be your USD value for the position size. And then in your exchange, you would set your stop loss to your invalidation point here. So this would be close to 3995.285. And then if you can't watch the charts for a while and you just want to stick to the plan, set it and forget it and not worry about it, definitely take profit at your technical target, which is the range high in this case. And that would be 4,111.347. But hopefully this was helpful. This took me a long time to figure out and find because when I was trading crypto, A lot was a different value than a lot in Forex, and then there's slippage and pips and all this stuff, and it just wasn't translating. The math I was doing wasn't translating because I wasn't using pips. For example, in Forex, I was using my stop loss distance, and that's not as accurate. This is the fastest way to be accurate. You don't have to enter a ton of math, and yeah, you're just rocking and rolling. Let me know if you have any questions. Jesus King, God bless.